It's great to have you here today. My name is Barry Hez II, and we're in part 7 of our Risky Leadership series. I wanted to give you insight today on leadership, specifically risk taking. My new book, Risky Leadership, comes out on August 24th of 2021. So go get it, go out and get it, enjoy it. It includes my own thoughts on leadership, surveys from the public, and it also includes interviews from living and inspirational leaders. These people include professors, angel investors, entrepreneurs, attorneys, and judges. Before I go any further, I wanted to quickly give you insight on my book. There's a chapter in the book that's titled Release, and I wrote the chapter because from time to time I find it difficult for leaders to release what they have, whether that be business owners or nonprofit leaders or elected officials. Um, they have we see these individuals have trouble releasing their position or releasing control of a project. It just seems to be something we all have quite a bit of trouble doing as humans. I started the chapter release with a quote from M. Scott Peck. And if you don't know, M. Scott Peck was a well-known psychologist during his day. He wrote a phenomenal book called The Road Less Traveled. And I wanted to leave you with one of his famous quotes. And he said, in its major forms, giving up is the most painful of human experience. I'll say it again. In its major forms, giving up is the most painful of human experience. In this chapter, I talked with an impressive man named David S. Rose, and we talked about something called self-cannibalism. And we don't see individuals do this often. It basically ties into leadership risk and the chapter topic called release. And when we talk about self cannibalism, what we're talking about is businesses destroying parts of itself, a business destroying a part of itself. And that needs to be done to move forward, to be more creative, to do so many things in the business world. And we don't see this enough because we see different business leaders hanging on to the past instead of moving forward. So self cannibalism is challenging, but it must be done to move forward, to be more creative and innovative. The individual I spoke to for the release chapter, Mr. David S. Rose, I'll give you his background quickly. Mr. Rose is a fifth generation entrepreneur. He's an Inc. 500 CEO, and he's currently the founder and CEO of Gus. So, Gus operates the world's largest online platform and community for entrepreneurs and early stage investors. Gus is used by over 650,000 entrepreneurs in 190 countries, and it connects with over 80,000 early stage investors. Mr. Rose has been called the father of angel investing in New York and has founded and invested in more than 100 companies. He is also the founder and chairman emeritus of the New York Angels. And the Angel Group, as some of you may have known, has gone to invest more than $100 million in startup companies. So his background, his work is pretty impressive. And I'm so glad I got the opportunity to speak with him. So in speaking with Mr. Rose, I want to go over one of the questions I asked him, and it led to a talk on self-cannibalism. And the question I asked him was, what risks do you see CEOs avoiding in companies that fail, And he said the following. He started to talk about Jeff Bezos and his company Amazon. And he said, Jeff was brilliant because he said, I'm going to get destroyed by someone because that's the story of business. Someone always destroys the guy before. We call that creative destruction. Therefore, if what will destroy me is digital books, I better be there first. It took Amazon 10 years to get to a certain point in hardback and paperback book sales. Within 4 years, they were selling more digital books than all the paperback and hardcover books put together. And then he went on to say, Bezos is the perfect example of someone who said, I'm going to cannibalize my existing business for my future business, because if I don't, someone else will. And then David Rose went on to say, that's the biggest fear I see leaders have. They are not prepared to take the risk of killing their existing business and somebody else does it to them. So, for more insights on risk, leadership, and release, for those of you who need it, go get my book, Risky Leadership. It comes out August 24th. Go get it and enjoy it. Take care.